It's Diane here, Big God Life, and I am in the chicken coop. These are the little babies. Doing my kind of evening routine with checking, getting the eggs up, cleaning up the poop, giving these little babies a little bit of good stuff. Oh, look.
Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Oh, goodness. Look at the babies.
I hope you can see that.
Hi, babies. I don't know how many's in there, but...
I noticed them a little bit. I've been trying to keep my cat and dog. Sadie seems to want to chase the mama when she comes flying over there. Hey! Getting ready to scrap. So here we are. I'm gonna make another video. This one is about these babies. Sometimes they follow, sometimes they don't. Look at these little critters. Look at these jokers. There's Sadie. And yeah, this, like I said, this is usually about the time that little snack time. It's I play with these dogs, and then I feed them. So this is kind of the evening routine. But I'm out here, and I don't know where the cat is. Sadie, no. She's ready to pounce on Daisy. But anyway, so here we are. Here's what I'm thinking. Watching the news, right? Like I hope a lot of you are keeping up with what's going on. Only for, I guess really just, again, awareness. Being prayed up. Sometimes these things will cause you to seek the Lord, especially when you start realizing the gravity of the situation. So here's what I'm saying. I hesitate, but at the same time, why not? Well, for one thing, I hesitate because time has passed. And I'll actually have to look back at when I had this dream. And, you know, like a lot. I don't know. You know, we share them. Some people share them. Oh, look. I didn't do so much with this fig last year, but looks like there's going to be a little bit. Quite a few of them. I think it was about maybe a 3-year-old fig or something. Now, and then the blackberries, wild blackberries. Let them grow because I like picking them and eating them. Hopefully I can get to them before the chickens get to them and all of that. So anyway, I had this dream, and I'll have to think back when it was. I'm pretty sure it was probably along the time frame of I think it was right around the election. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was right after the election. I want to say that's when it was. And just keeping up with the dogs. Okay, there she goes. So I had this dream, and it keeps sticking out in my mind the more I keep hearing about, you know, the Asian adversary that we have. And gotta keep moving. The skeeters are really bad. Sadie, leave that bird alone. She's trying to feed them babies. So maybe I'd sit down, but I tell you what, the skeeters are just gonna eat me alive, and I ain't gonna have it. Let's see, let me get the eggs. So probably need to sit down and tell you the stream, because it's a doozy. And I've had a few and I wrote most of them down, but essentially I had this dream that, sorry, I'm gonna walk and talk here. Nope. So I had this dream that I may have shared it. I know I've shared it with a few people, but not like on a video. So I had this dream around COVID, or around the election, after the election. I wrote it down somewhere, but anyway, and I was in like downtown area. So I walked up, like I've been to Atlanta, and you could, like off Peachtree Street or whatever, you can walk and then find yourself in a like a business, big skyrises, and I walked up on this one skyrise, downtown building, and it had a lot of windows, and I just remember walking up to it, and essentially I walked up to it, I could see the windows, and I remember walking in. Well, when I walked in, there was a celebration. There was balloons, party streamers, confetti, all of that stuff. And I remember walking in, and I'm just like, oh, this is cool. People are celebrating. They were just literally, it was like, it was a celebration, people were just like high-fiving each other, or kind of like that. I don't think they were high-fiving each other, but they were just like, woo, yeah, woo. It's just victory. They were celebrating. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay. And then the more I looked around, like I'm walking through the lobby, nobody's paying attention to me. I'm just looking around, observing this, and all of a sudden it dawned on me that all of these people are Asian. They're Chinese. And then I started focusing in on, and I think my attention started being drawn to, noticing these things, these details. And so I'm walking through the lobby, and I'm watching these people, just everyone is just exuberant, like they were celebrating. And I remember looking over, I recognized all of them. So then I made it a point, like, to look around to see, is there any other nationality, any white people here, any other nationality? Was it just, but it was all Chinese people. Then I started, as I'm walking through, and I guess I ended up at the elevators, but as I'm walking through, I remember looking at the walls and seeing Chinese writing. All the artwork was all Chinese. It was as if, like when you go into a Chinese restaurant, it's all Chinese. Words, arts, pictures, all Chinese. Get my point? And so I get to the elevator, and I hit the button. I go, the elevator doors open, and people even in the elevators are celebrating. Woo, woohoo, just whooping it up. And I just go in, and I don't remember hitting the floor. I just remember going in, observing, watching these people, and just excited. And, then the elevator would go up, the elevator doors would open, and the same thing. Somebody would go out, and the same thing. When I looked out into the floor, onto the floor where the elevators open, I saw celebration everywhere. Everybody was celebrating. So then I go up again. I think this happened a couple times. Go up a little bit further, the door's open. I look out. I don't get out but I look out, and again, celebration. Streamers, confetti, balloons, people celebrating, happy, just excited. And I'm just kind of just taking, observing. I go up again. Anyway, I believe the next go all the way to the top. The elevator then goes all the way to the top. And the doors open, and then I was by myself. And I walk out, but when I walk out, the floor was vacant. It wasn't finished yet. The floor, like there was plastic still on the beams, on the wood, the wood framing. It was, no lights or anything. It was just, the matter of fact, the kind of like when you watch those old movies where the mafia or whatever, you go in and, the building is just vacant, but there's plastic kind of hanging in between some of the framing. Not like that, but so I remember I went out and I saw all that, and I noticed there, nobody was on the floor. It wasn't finished yet. It was still under construction. So I turned around and walked back to the elevator. And as I did, I remember looking to the left of the elevator, and on the wall there was a plaque, and it was a plaque that said, "In God We Trust." And I remember looking at it, and when I saw that, "In God We Trust," or, when I saw that, the dream ended. And so I pondered that dream for a while, and I told it to a few people at church. Well, one person, and I've told it to other people since. But, yeah. And so, at that time, there was a big talk about, where COVID came from, the C virus and all this stuff. And there was a lot of talk about that. But then I was just like, and of course, what we all went through the past 4 years. But that was the dream. And so I've thought of that often because obviously, I'm collecting the eggs here. These are the eggs. Got quite a few today. And so anyway, the more this goes along, I'm convinced, and I see videos, and of course Trump won the election in 2024. Here we are in 2025, and it's been very clear to me. And I believe it came from the Lord. But it's been clear to me what that dream meant. And essentially, we do know, and I'm pretty sure we are, people have already been made aware, or I think I don't know if anybody's been aware, but the point is, sorry, let's see if I can get down here with this phone, is that I think it's been coming out that, well, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to kind of go into any more of what, but anyway, yeah, that's fancy. But, so anyway, that's that. I'm just going to leave that there. I think it really speaks for itself. My thoughts on it, essentially, in a nutshell, is at that time, basically, and I'm just going to put it like this. At that time, our enemies had gotten the victory. At that time, our enemies had got what they wanted. Whatever that was, they got it. Like, they got it. So I don't know what that was exactly, other than what I can speculate based on what, facts are out there now. There's still things probably that needs to come out, but I'm just going to leave that there. So I just pray, folks, pray for our leaders. Pray that President Trump will use wisdom, our leaders in these different organizations that could possibly make decisions for our nation. Basically, the reason I'm sharing that is it came out today, not today, yesterday, actually, about the Chinese couple that was caught, thank God, with some biological weapons. And yeah, so I think it's important to be praying about our country, about these things, because in my humble opinion, it is, I think I said this before, but it's in process. It's not like, we got to stop it at the gates. We have to continuously, thank God they're not here, they're there, and, we can make decisions because we're still somewhat insulated. No. Our walls and defenses have been taken down. They have been breached, if you will. So I believe it's time to pray. On that note, I do also believe that Jesus is coming back very, very soon. I believe that not only should we be prepared for our enemy, or enemies, but more also importantly is to be prepared for for Jesus. Okay, I'm not gonna beat around the bush, but we should be prepared to meet the Lord, and we should be prepared to and know where our heart is. Have you obtained a love of truth in your heart? Do you have a love of truth in your heart? Have you reckoned with God through faith in Jesus Christ, through his Son? And have you made those acknowledgments and confessions, not to a priest, to the Lord? Have you cleared your heart? Have you got your house in order? That kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, that is going to be the most important. Everything else could be dealt with because we have hope, and we know that, we know, if you know the Bible, then, well, nobody knows the Bible all the way, but if you know God's word, you stay in God's word, then Jesus said you'll know the truth, and the truth will make you free. It will set you free. So, start with John if you're not familiar with that, if you're not familiar with the Bible, or if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about regarding your spiritual condition. Start in the book of John, and that's a good place to start. And ask God, pray and ask God to give you understanding, give you, what do I need to know here? God, help me open my eyes. I want to know the truth. And he'll do that. He'll share it. He'll do that. That's it. So I pray everybody's doing well. If you have any comments or questions or whatever, leave a comment, and I hope to, yeah, there it is. So hope everybody's doing well, and talk soon. Bye.